The Cliff Keen Las Vegas tournament is shaping up to be one of the best that we have seen in quite a while. And now it's great every year. It really is. But this year is shaping up to be absolutely incredible. Did you know that we could see three number one versus number two matchups happen this weekend at the Cliff Keen Las Vegas, which starts on Friday, December 6th, and carries into the Saturday on the 7th. You can watch live on Flow Wrestling. There's a complete preview at the link in the bio. But the matches that I'm going to talk about today, first of all, are teams, okay? There are five top 10 teams coming, including Nebraska, Arizona State, Virginia Tech, NC State, and Ohio State. All of those teams will be at Cliff Keen. Not all of them have been there in the past, so it's exciting to see these teams come here this year. We will see also Fresno State, Iowa State, Michigan, Oklahoma, Purdue, UNI, Virginia Tech, Virginia, and many other teams. And there are a couple guys which I'm not going to talk about in here because they're not number one or number two ranked guys necessarily. They won't be wrestling number one versus number two, which if they make it all the way to the finals. But some guys who are looking for repeat are Ryan Deacon, Isaiah White, Colin Moore, all looking for those repeat titles. Now, before I get into these previews, please, I wanted to ask you, if you are a fan of wrestling content just like this, if you're enjoying this content, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps out the channel and helps us to keep growing as a community of wrestling fans. Now, the first matchup that we could potentially see at Cliff Keen Las Vegas is Pletcher versus Dimas. Number one Pletcher versus number two Dimas. This match has already happened this year. If you remember, this was a big upset towards the beginning of the year when Pletcher beat Dimas in a sudden victory match. It was a 2-1 score. Very exciting. Now, Pletcher already has 5 ranked wins under his belt on the season. It's moving up to 141 pounds, which is impressive. I wasn't sure personally how he was going to do in the season, but I'm excited to see how well he is doing. He's also putting up a lot of points on the board. Of course, Dom Dimas is no to be scoffed at. Now, of course, there are other guys in the bracket. Let's not forget about Mitch McKee of Minnesota, Chad Redd of Nebraska, and Tariq Wilson of NC State. All of these guys could put it to one of either Dimas or Pletcher, and they may not even end up making the finals. Who knows? This is an early season tournament, and upsets do happen. The second tournament that you're not going, or not tournament, the second match that you're not going to want to miss is Hyde Lee versus David Carr. Hyde Lee versus Carr. Or do you say Hidley? Do you say Hyde Lee or Hidley? Personally, what do you say? Just an interesting topic there. But at 157 pounds, number one Hyde Lee versus number two David Carr. Now, David Carr, I was excited. He was one of my top freshmen to watch coming into this season. But once he knocked off Caleb Young in the Iowa State versus Iowa duel, he was on a lot of people's radars. If you're a Fanco wrestling fan, you already followed him before that. You already knew he was going to make some big moves this season. Now, Hyde Lee, of course, is a turner. He's had 5 tech falls this season, always going for those techs, always going for those pins. He's in national finals as well as last year was a semifinals, always just knocking on the door of Jason Knopf, just couldn't quite get there. Last year, the controversial call, of course, but this year, he's turned over a new leaf and he's ready to roll. But Carr only has a few college matches under his belt. Of course, last year he redshirted, so he had a bunch of matches there, but this year, just a couple of matches under his belt. He's going to have to find a way to get to Hyde Lee's legs and take him down. I think that's one of the keys here that's going to be important for David Carr beating Hyde Lee. But of course, these aren't the only two guys in the weight. You're also going to have number 4 Deacon of Northwestern, who Hyde Lee has a win over. You're also going to see Will Lewin and Ja'Cory Teamer. I'm interested to see how Teamer does as Arizona State's number 22 ranked wrestler. He's had a solid year so far, and I'm interested to see where he goes. This could be a tournament where he makes a name for himself. And the third match that you're not going to want to miss, the third super match you're not going to want to miss, is another Hyde Lee. Trent Hyde Lee versus Zahid Valencia at 184 pounds. Of course, Zahid Valencia, the 2-time national champ, is 8-0 on the season with 4 matches that he's won by fall so far. So Zahid is on another level this year, even moving up a weight to 184 pounds from 174. And he's just absolutely dominant with 6 bonus point victories. The only decision this year that he has still won, but the only decision he's had is against the number 5 ranked wrestler and Taylor Venz of Nebraska. Now, Trent, he has had a very impressive year as well with wins over Ben Darmstadt of Cornell, who Darmstadt, I thought he was going to have a little bit better of a season than he has. Now, of course, it's early in the season. He's dropped down a weight, but the focus here, of course, is on Trent Hyde Lee, who has beat 2 number 2 ranked wrestlers in the country, and that's why he has earned his mark as a number 2 ranked wrestler. In Ben Darmstadt, who was number 2 at a point, as well as Lou Dupre, who is another number 2 ranked wrestler at a point. Now, Hyde Lee is 6-0 on the season to Zahid's 8-0. So I'm interested to see how that match goes. Which matches are you looking forward to at Cliff Keen, Las Vegas this upcoming weekend? Please let me know in the comments below.